Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill on a Monday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. He is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, and Taylor Sharp back there on the ones and twos. Opening hour on Monday, always brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Mr. Hill, how are you?
Could be a lot better. My Tigers got crushed, and I did absolutely horrible in the SEC slate, so could be a better Monday for me.
I love the board. I owned the board. Dominated the board. We'll talk about that in hour number 2 here with you until 3 o'clock. We'll talk some Saints, talk about the SEC slate, talk about the NFL slate, and, of course, we will start with LSU and Tennessee on Saturday morning inside Death Valley. The final score, 40-13. The Vols win it. What you saw there was a football program in Tennessee that's got its feet on the ground under Josh Heupel. They've got an identity. And they've got an unbelievable quarterback. And they are a really, really good team this year. And they showed that on Saturday. And you got LSU, a team that is in year one of a total rebuild that is not very deep in a lot of places. That depth was tested on Saturday. And the better team played much better. The better team won. And LSU couldn't get us any sort of a break to try to change the momentum of the game. It was just kind of downhill literally from the first play of the game, which was, of course, the kickoff that Jack Bass muffed and gave Tennessee the football. You gave Tennessee the football. You gave them great field position. You continue to shoot yourself in the foot on fourth downs. You're dropping passes. And Tennessee made plays. It was just Tennessee outclassed LSU on Saturday.
I thought that was a full display of a team with an identity and a team without one. And I thought, going into that game, the last thing you could do is let that Tennessee rushing attack get going. But when the offense can't score enough points, you kind of let them control the tempo of the game. You let them control the flow of the game. And that's exactly what, Heupel and that offense is doing with the tempo just at the line. Every single play just puts so much pressure on you as a defense. And I thought we were vanilla in that game defensively. I know they're going so fast. It's hard to really get exotic and do, a lot of other things you can do. But for so much of that game, you can easily see what coverage we were in. You could easily see, what the defense was doing. You're rushing for every single time, and it was just one of those things where, for Tennessee, they really didn't have to do much adjusting. They kind of just ran their stuff, went fast, and their offense was just rolling. And I think starting the game the way you did, you muffed a kickoff return, special team reared its ugly head again. You couldn't have got out to a worse start. The last thing you could do, especially if you're going to receive every single kickoff, is just give them 3 points on the board to start that game. And it seems like you say, you really couldn't, turn it around since that. And I know a lot of people say, well, yeah, it's the first year and, it's got to go through growing pains. But to me, the way you lose matters. That was just a team to me just that couldn't execute at a high enough level. And it made me really ask myself, how much better is that Pitt offense compared to this LSU offense, and how much better is that Florida offense compared to this offense? Because, they were going up and down the field, scoring a bunch of yards and scoring touchdowns and doing all things that way. So definitely a reality check for a lot of Tiger fans in this town right now. A lot of work to do on both sides of the ball, including special teams as well. So, I know Coach Kelly, they're going to burn that midnight oil and try to figure this thing out and go forward from there. But, yeah, that was just not the way you want to play, especially at home in a big-time national spot. You could have really, I'm not saying go dominate Tennessee, but I just thought that game, you could have been a lot more competitive in it.
I really didn't think the defense was that bad in the first half. They got no help. You set Tennessee up right there at the 27-yard line on the muffed kickoff. And the next time down, you let them run a punt all the way back down inside the 30-yard line once again. You held them to a field goal on the next drive, and then you had the one big play over the top for the 45-yard touchdown pass. But that was really all that you gave up, and then you look up on the scoreboard, and it looks like you're getting absolutely hammered. And the defense has no – they did put up a fight there. They just got no help from their offense, and they were consistently put in terrible spots. There are so many things I want to talk about in this game. We're going to do it for 30 straight minutes here. But the first thing is, and he answered this question, and I understand the answer. I just vehemently disagree. LSU's offense is not good. It's not. They don't have an identity. They don't execute very well. They don't score a lot of points. They're not great running the ball. They're not great throwing the ball. When they do throw the football, they drop it half the time. The offensive line has been shuffled. It'll be the 6th different rotation they put out there this week against Florida. The offense is not good. Stop putting them out there first. And this wasn't the offense, obviously, because Jack Besh drops the ball. But your offense is not good enough to go out there and say, well, we're just going to take control of this game early and limit Tennessee's possessions. No, what you can't have happen is what actually did happen, and Tennessee scored 3 points right before halftime and then came out and got 7 right after that, and you had a 10-point swing where you never touched the football. I can't have that in the middle of the game with this team. Your margin for error is not great enough to where you can try to take that path. You got to kick the football, put your strong defense unit out there, and maybe you, with a limited offense, will get a double dip in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was in that Kelly presser after the game. I can tell you 2 things that aren't going to change for the rest of the season. 1, they're going to receive the ball every single game. That is not changing. And 2, Jaden Daniels will be the quarterback of this football team. So with those things, 2 things being known, especially in this town, like, you got to roll with that, and you got to just see what happens with that whole thing. And I think as this offense, I really want to ask him, like, I know you guys want to start fast. Have you guys been able to put a nail on why this offense hasn't been very productive, especially to start football games, especially if you're receiving the ball every single game? So that's just something I think, going forward, it's really going to ail this team. If you're going to take the ball to start every game and not put up any points, just keep your defense out there. I talked about it all week long. This is the worst team in the country that you can have a slow start against. You can't do it. And they're going to go so fast. They're going to control the tempo of the game, and you're going to look up, and they're going to blitz you. And that's exactly what happened in this game. So I think, you got to figure something out going forward. I think the run game is kind of reminded me of that UCLA game, extremely vanilla. You're just running inside zone. You may mix a quarterback draw in there with Daniels, and then you got a quarterback pull play. And as a defensive coordinator, you can game plan for that. High school coordinators can game plan for that type of run game. So we kind of saw last year, they mix that counter in, they mix some stuff else in the run game, but can't just go in there with those vanilla run game just thinking you got, Alabama's offensive line from 2011. You can just move people off the ball and just dominate that way. You don't have those guys. You got to be, a little more dynamic. You got to switch it up a little bit more, and you just haven't seen that. And you parlay that with no deep passing attack. Blew my mind just to see how many guys got one-on-one opportunities on the outside. Guys are running open. Second possession of the game, second down. Kayshawn, they run a 7-man protection. Jaden has all the time in the world to throw. Kayshawn's running post route, wide open, no one in the middle of the field. He just runs the other way and so I've just watched that all season long. So will they fix that? It's going to get to the verge of insanity to think that we're going to start taking shots on the field and giving these guys some chances, because when you can't run the ball, you can't convert on 3rd down, you can't convert on 4th down. What else is there to do as an offense? It's just going to continue to look the way it has all season.
Let's talk about the 4th downs. So the first one he went for, and this is something that Billy Napier did against Tennessee as well. He went for 6 4th downs against this Tennessee team. They put pressure on you because you expect them to score a lot, so you in turn have to push the envelope and try to score with them. And you're down 10-0, and I think at that point, you gotta take the points and kick the field goal. It's far from a sure thing with this LSU team, but you feel like you're going to make that field goal. You got close, but I would take the points there. The one that I actually really agreed with was before the half. Let me find the play so that I have it.
The 4th and 10?
Yeah. I did not hate that one because
I hated that one.
So let me go all the way down to the play so I have all the numbers right. Okay. So you've got 4th and 10 on the 45. There are 23 seconds left. Tennessee did not have a timeout, and you are putting their weaker unit on the field for one chance to make a play. And it was 4th and 10, but it was from the 45-yard line. I feel like in 20 seconds I can stop them if I need to, and I got a chance to, against a bad secondary, to get my guys in space and see if I can't hit a play. In the moment when I saw it, I went, that's not terrible, because you're down in the game. It cost you 3 points. It did. But I didn't hate the decision putting, it's a bad Tennessee secondary out there with your best athletes, calling a play and seeing if you can't go down there and get some points.
Yeah, I mean, To me, it just, you have to look at the context. And to me, you really have not passed the ball at an elite level all season, not when you have to have it. So you're asking this offense, shaky offensive line, quarterback who really doesn't push the ball down the field, to try to convert a fourth down on a defense that blitzes every third and long and fourth and long. You're depending on those guys to hold up. So in that situation, I thought, only down 13 at the time, punt the ball, make sure they don't get any points on the board. And you go to the second half. Unfortunately, they're going to get the ball coming out of the second half. So I think that's another reason why you're kind of forced to be in that situation. But I just think too many yards. If it was 4th and 5, 4th and 6, I could see that. But 4th and 10 with this offense, this passing attack, this offensive line, I just didn't love it. And then at the beginning of the game, I didn't love that one either. Like, you're only down 10. Like, take the points, make it a one-possession game. Just
you needed to settle everything down. It was chaos from the start because you gave it up. And you had a stadium that was ready to be energizing into the game, and the light came right out of it. And you had a chance to stabilize things, and you didn't.
Yeah, and I think, as a coaching staff, you're used to, kind of things rolling. Denbrock, he didn't have to deal with this last year with Ritter at the quarterback position. Obviously, Kelly's been there. He has tenure at Notre Dame. They didn't have to deal with this. Is just a whole different animal. And with that being known, I know you want your guys to win. I know you believe in your guys, but you got to know what you have in that locker room. And quite frankly, right now, this isn't a passing attack. That's really one of those ones you walk in there every Saturday and you think it's going to light the world on fire. And I know it's easy to look at the end of the game and see, Jaden had 300 yards. Yeah. A lot of that was garbage yards. A lot of that is at the end of the game. They're playing off. You're taking the little hitch routes and all that stuff. When you're actually at the have-it situations, you weren't able to score touchdowns. And in this league, you have to score touchdowns to win. This is the last time you can kind of go down, never convert a 4th down, not get points on the board. You're just going to lose. And I think, going forward, you got to just have to find a better way to execute at a higher level. I don't know why Emory's just not getting enough touch. I know the run game wasn't there. That's another thing that just kind of blew my mind. Like, Williams, it's just a lot going on, man. It's a lot. Tough times right now, but we got to keep battling. You got to continue to believe in some of the guys that they have. But I think going into games with that strategy they had last week, you're not going to be able to execute at a high enough level. So let's kind of get this thing a little more dynamic.
And the other part of it, which is, 95% of this game was decided because Tennessee was much better than LSU. There was a 5% in there that LSU just couldn't catch a break. Maybe that ball comes off Besh and bounces out of bounds instead of right to the Tennessee guy. Maybe when LSU sends a free, unabated blitzer who lights Hooker up, there's somebody right there to pick it up and run it the other way for a touchdown. No, instead Tennessee picks it up and runs it for a 2-yard gain. Like, you could not. Maybe Kayshawn does get the extra inch on that 4th down and you go in and score. Like, there were so many times where you feel like you're fighting for your life because you're the lesser team and Tennessee's got things rolling, and you need something to happen that's going to change the game around. And it never broke LSU's way. It never broke LSU's way. And again, that's 5% of the 100. The other 95% is that Tennessee is a significantly better team that may have a special season here. But it was a really, really frustrating day to be inside Tiger Stadium from the start, literally from the absolute start. So opening hour here brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. Looking for a late lunch? The Shed right there on Burbank. It would love to have you come on by. You can get some ribs, get some pulled pork. They got some awesome brisket in there. I love the mac and cheese, potato salad. Wonderful for tailgating as well. So if you've got tailgate coming up in a couple of weeks, 2:30 kickoff with Ole Miss, so you want to do some barbecue, give them a couple of days' notice. The Shed is happy to help you with your tailgating orders. Certainly there for lunch each and every day. Great place to watch games. Great place to get a drink as well. The Shed is an awesome, awesome partner here of Hunt and Hill, and they bring you the opening hour each and every Monday. We'll come back a little bit more on LSU and Tennessee. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
I've been doing business with Luber for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals.
But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Join me, Jimmy, out at Charles Handegrift. Monday, 6 to 8 p.m., we're at Spoken Hub Restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. We recap the weekend pro and college football. Game time presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Opening hour on a Monday here, brought to you by the Shed Barbecue. Jeremy, I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. Nick Saban, after the game with A&M, was doing something, I think, with part of the radio network or television. I'm not sure who he was talking to, but he broke down the defensive call of the last play of the game. Did you see this?
No, I did not.
So he's going through all the leverage that the defensive linemen are playing. He's highlighting a couple guys in the secondary, green dog this, green dog that. This guy's passing this. He's talking about stuff. I had no idea what he's talking about. And it goes back to my point that, like, when we start getting into the weeds on X's and O's, I am out of my depth from a football perspective. So I want your thoughts on Brian Kelly's answer today about Harold Perkins being very, very limited in what he did in the game against Tennessee. Brian Kelly said they've moved Harold Perkins a couple of times, and now he is playing the Sam linebacker spot. The Sam linebacker spot against Tennessee with the formations they were running was going to have Perkins playing basically out by the numbers and near the sideline, way out of the box. And so they were nickeled up the entire game, and that's why he did not play, because they weren't going to move his position. And once again, that position that he's playing for them was not one that they were using very much. against this team, so he didn't play. Haney talked about this in his show. He hates the answer. He thinks it's ridiculous. If you got a really good player, you find a way to make them work. What are your thoughts on why Harold Perkins did not play very much against Tennessee?
Yeah, I didn't love it. I mean, you needed a guy that can go out there and make a play. And Harold's just one of those kids, man. You stack him at backer, you put him on the edge, whatever it is. And the plays you did have, you just kind of got unlucky. You got the strip sack on Hooker. They recovered it, and you had another fumble where he just picked it up. And it's just those are the type of plays you got to have. But I think Harold's a kid who's going to go out there and make those plays. And so, yeah, I didn't love that. And I was watching the game. I'm like, wait, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? Why is he not in the game? Why is he not in the game? And it's like, to me, he's your best player on defense right now. He's flashed the most the entire season. He's in the backfield wreaking havoc. He's catching interceptions. He's doing all the things you never expect a true freshman to do. And I thought in a game like that, especially early on, you needed someone to potentially make one of those game-changing plays. And he just couldn't do that because he was on the sideline. So hopefully going forward, I don't care what position, Sam, Will, Mike, whatever it is, get that kid on the field of all times. You can't afford it this year. You're not trotting out the 2011 defense. Like, you need as much talent on that field as you can have. And so I just didn't love the idea of him, not being on the field at all.
It's, I mean, it was frustrating for just as a fan. You're looking down like, this guy's done so much for this team this year and is so versatile. And you got a really athletic quarterback back there that's running around a little bit. Maybe you can try to get some pressure. And you don't have him out on the field, but again, that's more than I can chew with in terms of what the role of the Sam linebacker is and where he's standing on the field and what he's able to do. So but one thing that took me a little bit by surprise in this game, Jeremy, was the success that Tennessee had consistently running the football. They ended the game with 263 yards on the ground. Small gets hit up by a turf monster at one point. It could have been a lot more. They just consistently gashed LSU on the ground time and time and time again. And LSU has stood pretty tall. Certainly don't have to worry about the run game against Mississippi State, but they've been pretty good defensively against the run, and Tennessee just had their way with them.
No, they did. And I thought, Heupel did a phenomenal job calling that football game. He stuck with the run from the beginning of the game to the end of the game, and it's just you had to respect it. You think Tennessee's going to come out there, try to have 55, 60 pass attempts and just light you up in the air. But, he stuck with that run game, and it put so much pressure on you when you're lining it up play after play. And they lived in third and short that entire game. They just lived in third and short, and it's just so easy to put pressure on the defense that way. And then you give yourself a great opportunity to go for it on fourth down, which they converted every single fourth down they did. And also, too, I love the plays they were calling, misdirection plays on fourth down. They ran it up in there for a fourth down. It's just
full shovel pass.
Yeah. So it's just very difficult when you got a coordinator dialing it up that way, and you're always in fourth and short and third and short. So yeah, I thought for LSU, they gave up contain way too much. The edge guy has to keep the running back inside. They let that little scat back get to the edge way too many times, but it's just tough to deal with when there's so many things you got to worry about. They're throwing the ball out quick on these screen plays. Defense line has to run out there, try to tackle that. Then he's speeding up to the line. It's just a very difficult offense to deal with. You've seen teams kind of slow them down a little bit, but they're scoring 30-plus week in and week out. And as an offense, like I said, going into this game, you got to put points on the board. You got to control the time of possession. That's just something you weren't able to do. So they're going to do that against any defense. Like if they're playing that many plays, Heupel's dialing it up like that, it's really, I don't care how good your defense is. They're going to get tired. They're going to get a big play. And then, Hooker, he's got to take shots down the field, something that we just don't see from our offense. Even if you don't complete it, you're forcing pass interference plays. You're giving your team a chance to, make big-time plays. And that's just something we don't really have on our offensive side of the ball right now.
Why?
Look, man, Jaden he doesn't want to throw the ball, man. We took one deep shot and he threw it out of bounds. It would have been a pass interference if he threw the ball in bounds, but it was uncatchable. So you can tackle the guy if you want to, if you're going to throw it 5 yards out of bounds. And so that's really the only deep shot I remember from the game. The one to BTJ up the sideline.
Yeah,
everything
down
else,
the right sideline.
Yeah, down the right sideline. The only other ones, I know everyone's going to keep talking about that seam to Jure, but Jaden was so late on that, it got tipped. It's just it's a tough play to catch. But yeah, that's really it, man. We're throwing hitch routes on the outside. We're throwing little slants up the middle, and it's like, man, it's so hard to have 15-play drives, 14-play drives when your offensive line isn't great and you can't just dominate people in the run game. You can't go that way. You need chunk plays, and the best way to do that, you give these guys on the outside opportunities to either force a pass interference or go up and make a big-time catch, and that's just a facet of our offense we just have not seen all season.
And then you see, when you combine the fact that they don't take deep shots down the field and certainly don't hit deep shots down the field. And then you look up and you ran the ball for 55 yards and only 17 of them came from your running backs. At a certain point, you don't even have any dimensions. Like, there's nothing you can lean on. And I think there are myriad reasons why LSU doesn't effectively move the football and score points the way that they would like to. You've got some limitations at quarterback. You've got a hodgepodge at offensive line, and very little production in the running game. And so there's just not much you can go to lean on. Are you surprised that LSU wasn't able to run the football at all in the game? 17 yards from the running backs is awful.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that Pitt game, that running back's just gashing them for 50-yard touchdowns, 100-plus easy. I mean, obviously Florida, they did a lot better job stopping the run against Florida. But, yeah, I thought if you go back and look at those run plays that we did have, it's literally just inside zone. And, I mean, all you need is an extra guy off the edge. And then when Jaden did pull it, they made sure they had a guy, responsible for Jaden when he did try to pull it out. And so, as a defense, like, if we only got to worry about two things every game in the run game, like, okay, they're going to run inside zone when they do decide to run the football. All right, let's make sure every gap's accounted for. We saw what we did against Mississippi State when they tried to do that. If every gap's accounted for, it's just so hard to find a lane and find a hole to run through. And then, hey, we got a guy for Jaden if he wants to pull it out. So that's just too easy to game plan for. So am I shocked that they weren't able to get the run game going? Not really. Looking at the offensive line, no Will Campbell. Obviously, Dellinger gets hurt in that game. It's really hard to do that. So it just forces so much pressure on Jaden to go out there and play lights out and, make big-time throws down the field. And we just haven't seen that. So maybe, they change it up, add a counter play here, maybe run some stuff from pistol. It's just you can't just run inside zone against everyone and think that's going to work.
For those that missed Brian Kelly's press conference a little bit earlier today, which we carry on our airwaves each and every Monday, he did update the two offensive linemen who were down. Will Campbell, as of the press conference, so around noon, was still in the hospital, but the anticipation was that he would be able to leave within the hour. So as of right now, the implication was that Will Campbell likely headed home right now, and that he said all the reports were very, very good. As far as Dellinger goes, grade 2 MCL. He's going to miss Florida and then Ole Miss. Then you've got the bye week, and then you got Alabama. The anticipation that he would be back for the Alabama game. So Ole Miss missed 2 games with that injury. So no season-ending issues. And sounds like Will Campbell had a pretty scary time there. But sounds like the reports are fairly good on those 2 guys as far as them rejoining the football team at some point here in the very near future. Last thing here, Jeremy, this is something that we talked about in August. Just a little bit different vibe around here, a little bit different energy with the expectation level and where this football program is right now. And I've honestly kind of seen that play out. I think people kind of understand. This is they got 60-something scholarship guys, and it's a lot of transfers that have been thrown in here, and there's still a ways to go here. And that didn't change when you lost the first game to Florida State. It didn't change when you got what looks like a really nice win against Mississippi State. You found a way to get things done at Auburn, and you got trounced by a top 5 team here against Tennessee. But it's week to week, and now you just throw that one in the rearview mirror, try to put the unit that you've got together for this week and go on the road to the Swamp, see if you can't get a win.
Yeah, no, you have to. It's some of these type of losses, they could be demoralizing, especially for a new coaching staff, new team, a lot of new guys on this roster. But, what I've seen from this team, they'll fight, especially in the second half. You've seen it at the end of every first half. They kind of, wake up a little bit and want to battle. But you got to, I think the difference with this team is they're going to have to understand the value of we can't wait and let all these teams get a huge start. And I'm kind of a little worried about being on the road in the Swamp. I know they're going to be getting going and all the stuff with Napier being the coach here and all that stuff. But you can't keep starting slow in this game. So I think one adjustment I would love to see from this football team, could we get a 7-0 lead? Can we get a 10-0 lead?
That'd be so much fun.
Just one time. Can we see what that feels like? The kind of
felt
control.
Good against Southern.
Yeah,
34-0 in the first quarter. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, so can we do that? And I think going into this hostile environment, I know the Swamp's going to be buzzing. You don't want to let that hostile
Tom Petty day.
Yeah, that crowd will get buzzing, and the last thing you can do is go in that arena and think you're gonna light the world on fire, going down 17 or going down double digits to start the game. So I think now more than ever, let's get a fast start. I'm not gonna say let's defer to the second half. No, probably not gonna see that.
I'll say that. Defer to the second half, please. But
yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, you got to continue to fight.
All right, we'll take a time out, change gears a little bit. Saints and Seahawks. We'll go back over the SEC slate at the top of hour number 2 because we want to check in on my unbelievable gambling selections that I warned you about on Friday. just lit it up over the weekend, except Commodores didn't quite get home. Had a lead and catching 17 and couldn't cover in Nashville. But that's the way it goes. All right, we'll come back and Saints Seahawks talk. Next, it's Hunt and Hill.
Hold down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill.
Tell you every day about One Bath and Closets, the website onebathandclosets.com. If you're like me, pretty frequently from inside your house, you hear, God, we need a new bathroom. God, we need to fix these. I need more closet space. One Bath and Closets can help you out with all of that. David Duvall and his crew have an awesome system. They'll come in, they'll look at what you've got, they'll give you a questionnaire you can fill out. You've got X amount of pairs of shoes, you need this and that, and then they'll put together a customized solution for you to get your closet space maximized. You can maybe build a new one or create something, or just maximize the space that you have because you don't exactly know how to do that. David Duvall and his team will do it. You don't have to up and move to enjoy the space in the bath, in the closet. They'll come do it for you. They promise they're not going to be taking any shortcuts. They're not going to be coming back to fix something that wasn't done properly. That's the difference when you work with One Bath and Closets. They'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com. 30% off if you tell them Hunt and Hill sent you. 30%? That's not insignificant. They'll help you out. It's One Bath and Closets at onebathandclosets.com.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
On Tuesdays, OTB will put a cap on Tennessee game with our final film review, start to break down Tigers, Gators in the swamp. And spooky season rolls right along. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Black and gold got a nice win yesterday inside the dome. I guess it'll be called the Taysom Hill game. Remember that? Running all over the place, throwing touchdown passes. Taysom was fantastic in his role yesterday, and the Saints offense finally got rolling. It took a terrible defense coming in, but they finally found a way to score some points. They outlast Seattle 39-32 to win in the Superdome. I think the biggest key, Taysom's game was what won them the game, because he obviously had the 22-yard touchdown pass and then also ran for 112 yards and 3 scores. So he was the reason they won. But the most encouraging thing for me was the fact that they got Kamara going and he looked really good. He ran it 23 times for 103 yards and never ripped one off. His longest run was 13 yards. He averaged 4.5 yards per carry. Then they got him on that screen play that went for a big play for 54 yards and got him involved with 6 catches. That is the biggest encouraging thing for me with the Saints, is that they finally got their best player going.
Yeah, fantasy football owner's dream was that came from Kamara yesterday. But, yeah, I thought, against that bad defense, I mean, we talked about it. I mean, they're giving up 35-plus on multiple occasions. And so there they are again, giving up a ton of points. It's just not much talent on that Seattle Seahawks defense. And I thought for the Saints, continue to stick with the run game, keeping Andy below that 30 attempts. Like, I think that's, like, the perfect range for him. Like, you want to see him 20 to 25 and, keep him around there. And I think that's a great number for the Saints if you can get your run game going. Little discouraged by the defense. Too many big plays. That's something that, when you're a respectable defense and, you really want to go out there Sunday after Sunday and expect to have success, can't have big plays in the run game to Kenneth Walker. It seemed like Tyler Lockett was getting over the top way too many times, and you gave up the big play to DK. And they had one called back as well, too, that you got lucky on. So, but I think for the Saints, you talked about it, close to a must-win, almost pretty much a must-win. Like, that's one you definitely don't want to lose. And I know you're on shaky foot in that fourth quarter when they kind of got some momentum, but able to get that big-time win at home to kind of give yourself a little more confidence going forward, especially looking at what's going on with the Panthers, looking at what's going on with the Falcons. Like, you're not out of it. It's a long season, so the only way you can stay in it is win football games. And I thought for the Saints that was a big-time opportunity to do that.
You're sitting there in your Mickey Loomis and your Dennis Allen, and you're thinking, okay, we understand that last year we went out there, and because of Mike being out, and all of a sudden our wide receiver core was nowhere near what it had to be a winning NFL football team. So you address it, and you think Mike Thomas is going to come back, and you draft Chris Olave, and you go get Jarvis Landry. Like, all right, now we have one of the better receiving. And then all of a sudden you look up, and Thomas is hurt, and Jarvis is hurt, and Olave comes out of the game, and you're like, okay, now we're back to what we were. We're back to Juwan Johnson and Traquan Smith and Marquez Callaway running out there. It looked like last year's receiving corps, but they were able to get Kamara involved. He led them in receiving, and hopefully get Thomas and Juice and those guys back and moving forward. But it's got to be frustrating to solve a problem and then have it all come right back to you.
Yeah, no, it stinks. And I think as a GM, it's like all I can do is just try to give you guys the most talent that I can find and, make sure you guys have the opportunities. And you look at that Saints roster, going into the season on paper, it's like, okay, we got some receivers, we got a back, I'm saying? O-line's not too shabby. Got some guys on defense, love our secondary. And it's like when guys just kind of dropping left and right, guys in and out of the lineup, you really can't depend on what you're going to see week in and week out. Like, there's not anything more you can do. Football's a violent game, violent sport, but at the same time, you want to have your guys out there week in and week out. So for the Saints, they're not too many guys that are out for the season that you're not going to see again. I think going forward, just getting this team back fully healthy is going to be so important, especially, I think you're getting a little boost from Dalton at quarterback. I think he's playing a lot better than what you saw from Jameis.
No doubt. It's still not great, but it's better.
But it's better than what you saw from Jameis, who just seems like he was limping around just way too much pain to be playing NFL quarterback. So I think with that, you feel like you have a chance to win football games in NFL. That's really all you can depend on going week in and week out.
I guess we buried the lead here a little bit, but you got to give credit to Sean Payton for seeing this Taysom Hill thing and making it work. I mean, it's just not – we just don't see this in the NFL. This is a high school thing. You got a great athlete. You just use him any way that you can. And it was just a clinic yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I was about to say you know what they're going to do, but I guess you don't, because he hits those runs and then they snap it to him and he drops back and throws a 22-yarder that was really well thrown ball. Like it just this doesn't happen in the NFL. And Sean Payton sometimes was too smart for his own good and got a little bit too creative, but over a decade you are going to make some mistakes. I realize that. But this is amazing that you got this guy that you can use in this way, and he accounted for 4 touchdowns yesterday.
Yeah, I think you got a little too creative when you thought, Taysom be an every down quarterback and let's have him have 30 pass attempts every game. That's a little too far. But if you're talking about using him as a gadget utility guy, like, can you point to a better guy in all of football that does what Taysom can do from Sunday to Sunday? You got to think he had 69 kick return yards in a game where he threw a touchdown and rushed for a touchdown. Like, how many guys can you name that can do that? But I got to agree with you. I don't think they win this game without Taysom Hill's performance. Big-time plays when you had to have them, clutch plays late in the game. And that's the type of guy, those are the type of guys that get the locker room going, because that guy is probably one of the least selfish guys in that team. He's going to do whatever it takes to help his team win football games. And I'm just glad Coach Carmichael's kind of continuing to use him in the way that he is, because, like I say, if you don't have Taysom playing the way he does, I think you lose to that bad Seahawks football team.
Look, Antonio Gates, he is not at this point, but it was nice to see Troutman get in the end zone. Nice to see him have a couple of catches. They targeted him 3 times. They really thought a lot of him when they took him in the middle rounds, and there's not a ton of depth there at that spot. I mean, Juwan Johnson is kind of a tight end, but he's kind of not. So Troutman's really your guy there, and it was just nice to see him get involved, because if you're going to have depth issues at wide receiver, because all these guys are going to have injuries, you may have to lean in the pass catching game. You are on Kamara, but you may have to do it on Troutman as well, and he showed up and made a couple plays.
Yeah, he definitely did. Now, I think going forward, looking at the Saints offense, that's really, on paper, that's really probably, if you want to pick out a weakness, like, man, the tight end position, like, I'm not sure, but I think seeing him catch that big-time touchdown in the game, that's going to be a huge jolt for his confidence going forward, because you're going to have that. There's no telling how many games Michael Thomas is going to play this season. Jarvis is already banged up. You're going to be dependent on a rookie who looked like he got banged up pretty bad in the game. And so it's tough. It's tough times for the Saints. So you can get whatever production you can get in the passing game, however you can get. And so if Troutman's going to add to that, I think that's a huge boost for the Saints.
I thought my friends were going to have a heart attack in this game because the Saints kept putting the football on the ground. Like, just stop fumbling. I mean, look, Kamara puts one on the deck. Taysom put one on the deck. They did, but Seattle did the same thing, and DK Metcalf lost one as well. So, I mean, good win for the Saints. One they needed to get. Now you sit there and you look up at your 2-3, and most teams in the league are 2-3 or 3-2. That's just the nature of the way this league is going. And you look at your division, and you're just a game out of it with Tampa, and obviously get a chance to play them a little bit further down the road, and they look like far from a sure thing. So it's like college baseball analogy that we were making all the time, where like a couple bad weeks gonna happen, but you just keep grinding, keep playing, and hopefully you get some guys healthy, and hopefully you play a little bit better and do enough just to get in. Because I mean, you look at the NFC. Some of your better teams feel very mortal. Like, are you just terrified of Philly? Like, they've played the best, but they've beaten up on some bad teams.
Yeah.
I mean, are you terrified of Dallas right now? Yeah, their defense is phenomenal. Are you terrified of the Giants?
Yeah. No, the Packers aren't.
The Packers. I mean, are you terrified of the Bucks? The Rams have lost 3 games. Like,
yeah. No, I kind of got to go back to your take before the season, man. You weren't too pumped up on the NFC. It's looking like you may have been right with that, man. Like, it's not those world beaters you think, year in and year out, especially with some of these NFC teams. So, yeah, I got to agree with you. The Saints, you're not out of it, especially if you can find a way to stay close in this division. You're going to play the Bucks again. They don't look like to be world beaters this season. They almost lose at home to the Falcons, who I just think they're an okay team. They're not, the team that anyone's picking to go represent the NFC in the NFC Championship game. So, yeah, for you, the Saints, you got to keep playing, get healthy as quick as you can, and you're not out of it. You're not out of it at all.
The thing with Philly, and we'll talk about this a little bit later when we go to the entire NFL in hour number 2, but the Eagles' schedule seems really easy to me. I mean, let me run through this. They opened at Detroit, then they played the Vikings, at Washington, Jacksonville, at the Cardinals. Then you got the Cowboys coming up, and you'll play them without Dak, I'm sure. Steelers stink, Texans stink, Washington stinks, the Colts stink. That's 4 in a row there. Then they play the Packers, who got a great quarterback. What else they got? I don't know. play the Titans, then the Giants, Bears. It's not that difficult to schedule. The Eagles are set up to win a lot of games.
Yeah, this is what happens with the parity of NFL. You're not going to get that first place ranked schedule when you don't finish first place in your conference or in your division. So now they're going to schedule with whatever team finished fourth or third. I don't know where they finished in the NFC East last year, but that's what happens. And so, yeah, that's why they try to create that parity for them. And, yeah, they've kind of got an easy road, to start this season. But it's a very, very long football season. A lot of things can change from week to week. And so you just got to keep playing it day by day. But, yeah, the Eagles, team you got to look out for. The quarterback's playing well right now, but so much more football to play.
We had a firing in the NFL. We will tell you who next and where he may be headed. Opening hour brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. You're listening to a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Reliable Roofing and Construction. Visit them at reliableroufingbr.com. Check them out on Instagram at Reliable Roofing LLC.
Yeah, so I have to tell you guys about Reliable Roofing, a family-run, owned, and operated residential roofing company. They've been in business since 2008 with over 30 years of roofing experience.
Tons of shingle options, the highest quality of shingles, a 5-year labor warranty. These are the things you deserve when you're looking at your roof, and Reliable Roofing and Construction can help you with it. Lionel Hayes is going to visit every single site that his employees go to. They're coming to your house. You will see the owner of the company there. This is a local Baton Rouge-based company, loves to serve their community here. If you're having trouble with the insurance and you may have to change carriers, they may look at your roof and say, we got to make some upgrades. Reliable Roofing can do an inspection. They can do a replacement. They can do a repair. Reliable Roofing and Construction is your one-stop shop. Check out the website, reliableroufingbr.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Shop, Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop-a style.
Oh, yeah!
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage.
Week 7 in the prep football season, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview, presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic Eye and Central kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Shed Barbecue bringing you the opening hour each and every Monday here on Hunt and Hill. Looking for a late lunch spot? The Shed can be it for you. Get you in and out there real quick on Burbank. Got tons of seating space, indoor and outdoor. Lots of TVs everywhere. They got live music on the weekends and fantastic barbecue. You know the Shed from your time going over to Ocean Springs, Mississippi. They are here in Baton Rouge now, and they are serving up some delicious BBQ, bringing you the opening hour each and every Monday here on Hunt and Hill. So we appreciate them for that. Give away some food. Shed winner getting fed from the Shed. That is Nick Tolson from GHX. That is hard to say. GHX Industrial is our winner from the Shed. So they will be getting some barbecue from the Shed coming up here very, very soon. Nick Tolson will be giving you a call. Matt Rule got fired today by the Panthers, and the first thing that you think of is, man, what college job does he land at next? And you know that Nebraska is already open. You feel very confident in saying that Auburn will eventually be open at some point. Question is that a place where he wants to go? He did a brilliant job at Temple, a brilliant job at Baylor. It just never worked in Carolina. And so I think the natural progression would be for him to move back to college.
Yeah, I think where you go and what time you go there matters so much. And I think for a college coach going to an NFL team, you better have a quarterback you can depend on. I thought during this entire tenure in Carolina, who's that guy? Who can you point to and say, you know what, he had a top 10 quarterback, and that thing just totally came off the rails. He's playing with Cam Newton last year, Sam Darnold this year. He's got my boy Taylor Sharp's favorite quarterback, Baker Mayfield, who's last in the NFL in QBR. So when you're dealing with that as a head coach, it's already hard enough to win week in and week out. But when you don't really have a guy that you can point to and say, man, like we should be able to win football games with this person, it only multiplies that times 10. And so, yeah, for Rule, I think, going to college, running that offense, I don't think his offense is a terrible offense. I think he's very creative, as a play caller. But when you don't have that guy, it just makes it so hard. So, yeah, when you go to college, you can recruit guys, get guys in the portal. Now it's just a whole new world. I definitely think you can see him having more success than he had with the Panthers.
There's not really a situation I think you could put Matt Rule in where he would be intimidated by it at the college level, because you look at what he inherited at Temple, where he went 2-10 his first year, and in year 3 they went 10-4, and in year 4 they went 10-3. He won 20 games over the last 2 years at Temple. Then he went to Baylor in the wake of that horrible scandal they went through with Art Briles, and it was awful in Waco. And they went 1-11 his first year. Then boom, 7-6, 11-3, and that's when he takes the Carolina job. So look, when you look at Temple's as tough a place to win as there is in college football, and then you look at what he inherited at Baylor and what he was able to do in year 3. Both times had massive double-digit winning seasons. Really, really good coach, and probably better suited for the college game. And I think he'll get an opportunity. It's just a matter of what Nebraska is looking at, and maybe potentially what Auburn is looking at if they decide to move on from Brian Harsin. Thought that may have happened over the weekend. Did not. But I think there may be a chance that Matt Rule finds his way. You got a landing spot for him? Where do you think he ends up?
Rule?
Yeah.
I know that Auburn job's going to look juicy right now, but there's a lot of losing that has to take place. I know that Arizona State job just opened up.
Yeah.
There's going to be some more jobs open up. Let's kind of see the landscape of this thing and kind of how it plays out. But I think off the top of my head, Auburn does look like a viable option for him.
We'll see. Curious if, and we're talking like Auburn's already fired the coach. They haven't. We just assume that this is going to happen. It feels inevitable. Obviously, they continue to lose, and doesn't feel like anybody's very happy there. When we had Auburn beat writers on this show and on the pregame show leading up to that game, it was basically, we feel like it's over. It's just a matter of when they decide to do it. So, I don't know if Matt Rule would take that job. He is a Big Ten guy, played at Penn State. So we'll see if potentially maybe Nebraska wants to knock on that door. I don't know what it's going to take at Nebraska to win. I don't know what a time machine. You could just jump back 35 years. I just don't know who that guy is. But look, if you can win at Temple and rectify that Baylor situation, Godspeed. That's great stuff. And Matt Rule certainly did that. But he will not be with the Carolina Panthers anymore. They've fired him today after a 1-4 start. Of course, that one against your New Orleans Saints. Want to congratulate Alex Oob of Berwick. Alex is our Week 6 winner in the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em Contest. Wins $50 to Twin Peaks. Don't forget to make your picks for Week 7 by 5 p.m. on Thursday. Play the 2022 Twin Peaks College Football Pick'em today at 1045ESPN.com. All right, that'll do it for Hour 1. The opening hour also is brought to you by The Shed Barbecue. We opened up with LSU Tennessee talk for the first 30 minutes of said hour, then switched to a little bit of Saints and Seahawks. So all your reaction to the games that our local teams played is in Hour number 1. Hour number 2, we will get to the entire NFL slate. At the bottom of the hour, we'll play Take It or Leave It for sure. But we're going to start with some talk on SEC football and the games that we saw over the weekend and get you our gambling picks and an update on those standings as well. Hope your Monday is going swimmingly. Come back with us after Sports Center. It's a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I am Juliette, daughter of Marguerite, granddaughter of Gabriel Piera. I come from a line of strong women who knew struggle and success too. Still, I was scared by my breast cancer diagnosis. But I had Blue Cross coverage, which meant I got care from top doctors. I'm strong like my mother, and her mother before her. The right card, the right care.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Dad!
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well.
Yes!
It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I'm Kevin. Went to the Carolina Panthers this morning, fired head coach Matt Rule. This happens 33 months after they pried him away from Baylor and the college ranks. And when I say pried him away, that's in air quotes because they pried him away with a 7-year contract worth $62 million. He didn't even make it 3 full years. 1-4 this season. ESPN's Mike Greenberg, like most of us, he saw this coming.
That is not a surprise to me. I actually wondered whether Matt Rule would get fired this week or not. The team's awful. They're lifeless. They're totally uninteresting. 11-27 in his 3 years. He leaves Carolina with 4 years left on a 7-year contract. So he did him 2 favors. 1, he can go get the highest profile college job he wants. And 2, he walks away with a whole lot of money.
He's going to be making $834,000 a month over the next 4 years. Steve Wilkes takes over on an interim basis, and when he does coach the Panthers in L.A. against the Rams on Sunday, not going to have Baker Mayfield out at least a couple of weeks with a high ankle sprain. Phillies removed the interim tag from manager Rob Thompson, give him a 2-year deal. Phillies 65-46 to close the season, swept the Cardinals. They're in Atlanta to play Game 1 of the Division Series tomorrow, exclusively on ESPN Radio. All games.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I had one coach texting me yesterday. This particular coach is eyeing a lot of different situations, and he said it's very frustrating watching the Chargers play football.
The guys will be back Tuesday morning at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
1, 2, 3. Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, it's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour 2, Monday edition of Hunt and Hill. Hope your work week is getting off to a good start. Told you Friday, Jeremy. I said, never seen the board this clear in the SEC. Yeah. You know how you get rich, Jeremy? You bet on teams like Missouri, like Auburn, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Those are the teams you want to ride. And I rode them on Saturday. 5-1, baby. 5-1 week. You were 2-4. Not quite as good. That puts us as for the season in the SEC against the number. I am 25-20-1. You were 22-23-1. So still pretty close. But
I don't like to be below 500. Not good.
Let's go through the action that we saw. We'll do it chronologically in the way that it played out. Arkansas and Mississippi State played 11 o'clock game in Starkville, Mississippi. The line on that game was 9. We knew that KJ Jefferson was very likely not going to play in this game, and it didn't really matter. Arkansas couldn't stop Mississippi State. It was just clinical. 14 points in the first quarter for Mississippi State, 7 more in the second, 13 more in the third. Just a consistent role for Will Rogers who threw for 395 yards, and Arkansas with a backup quarterback in there just was not equipped to keep up.
Yeah, no, that's Rogers, man. He after the LSU game, he kind of started lighting the world back on fire, and he seems to kind of pick up, right where he left off, scoring 40 at home is always impressive against the Arkansas defense. So I thought would be a lot better than advertised, going into this year. But yeah, Mississippi State, looking back, don't know how he slowed that down. Looking back at that,
I mean, it looks like a good win now.
Yeah, it's a great win. Looking back at that now, they're ranked 16 in the country now. So yeah, that's a big time win. I know KJ Jefferson probably would have made a lot bigger difference in that game. But if that Mississippi State offense is rolling that way, it's gonna be tough for a lot of teams to beat them.
And look, Arkansas got off to that really nice start, beating Cincinnati, throttling South Carolina. And then since then, it's just been tough. They've lost 3 in a row. I lost A&M by 2 points. Bama beat them pretty good in Fayetteville last week. And then you go to Starkville and get thumped. And that defense has just not been very good. 40 to Mississippi State, 49 to Alabama. It's just you expect Barry Odom's unit to be better than that, and they just have not been. So Mississippi State cashes. That's the only favorite I took on the entire weekend. The rest I took were dogs. Another 11 o'clock game, Missouri at Florida. Missouri hanging in there against two teams you think are pretty significantly better than them, but they can't win. So.
yeah, that's the whole point of it. Like Drinkwitz putting up that fight, man, like a boxer who just comes out strong in those first couple rounds, and then kind of what happens to end the fight. But yeah, I think for Missouri showing a lot more fight than I thought. I thought they'd be getting blown off the field, especially Florida at home. But no, I think for them it's getting over that hump, winning those games is just something that they just haven't figured out to do. And another good win for Billy Napier at home for Florida. Win another SEC East game. But yeah, Missouri. Yeah, they got to be down in the SEC power rankings again. They just continue to find a way to lose every game they play.
I mean, you look at Richardson statistically in this game. Of course, that's who LSU will play this week. And 8 of 14, 66 yards.
So which guy you gonna get?
It's just amazing the fluctuation you can see with this guy. I mean, he can go throw for 450 on Tennessee and then come back against Missouri and almost throws for just 50. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No,
LSU's just bad every week on offense. Florida's up and down like crazy.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about Richardson. I said that going into the season. I'm like, man, do I trust this guy as a passer? I know how dynamic he is as a runner, but what is he actually consistently in the passing game? You've kind of seen the best of all worlds, and you've kind of seen the worst of all worlds with him. And so hopefully we get this version next week, but something tells me it's not going to be the case. It's like he's going to play bad one week and then turn it up to a whole new level the next week. But hopefully we get this version of Anthony Richardson because I would love to see that.
I did not watch this game. Obviously, LSU's playing at the same time, so I don't have a ton of context for what exactly happened. But I'm looking at the stat sheet. Florida had 14 pass attempts and 28 run attempts. That's not enough plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then I look at Missouri. They had 30 pass attempts and 42 run attempts. So Missouri had the ball the whole game is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, they got dominated in time of possession. Then also, I think for Florida, they were terrible on third down. You go 3 for 11 on third down. You're constantly giving the ball back to Missouri. Then Missouri goes 9 for 17 on third down. And you saw them really have that great start to the game. Great start to that second half against Florida. But, yeah, I thought for Florida, they just have to be better on third down. They can't continue to go 33 and out like that to have an offense that's respectable and 66 passing yards in a game. I'm thinking about 5.5, like 66 for a whole game. Like, oof.
And so we'll go to the 2:30 kick, which was Auburn and Georgia. We both took Auburn in the points in this one, and that cashed barely. 32 is – wait. No, that didn't cash. I just thought it cashed. I'm wrong.
So you're 4-2 for the week?
Yeah, I was 4-2 for the week. I remember. Okay, so I was on the post game looking at this. Yeah, so Georgia scored 21 points in the fourth quarter, so Auburn did not cover. That's embarrassing to find out on the air.
I got another win then, right?
No, you didn't. You took Auburn. So
I did take Auburn.
Did you hit a bet? You hit one. You got Ole Miss. You were 1-5.
Jesus Christ. That's just bad. I could have closed my eyes and probably picked better than that.
Look, you look up, and, Auburn, at the end of the third quarter, it's 21-3, and Auburn ends up getting the touchdown in the fourth quarter, but they allowed 21 points. Stetson with the speed.
Yeah,
how about that?
Speed to burn.
He actually is fast.
I was actually not cheering for that at all at the time. It just made my stomach hurt. I had to watch my Tigers just actually get blown off the field, and Stetson's the next Lamar Jackson on the field. It's a bad Saturday for me. That was just bad.
But then it highlights, like, what happened to LSU's secondary? Auburn once again shut out in the first half. They usually have a half where they don't score any points, and all of a sudden Asher throws for 3 bills on us. That is bizarre.
Yeah, I think you could really point to kind of 2 or 3 plays in that game. The big touchdown, the third and long that they converted, and then that little touchdown he had. I think you take that away, then it's normally about what Ashford throws for in a game, but you give him those 3 just huge, colossal plays, and those numbers are going to be just out of this world. So, yeah, I don't know. At Auburn, they stink. I'll keep telling you all that. They just stink, man.
Speaking of bad beats and not covering, Vanderbilt was catching 17 points in this game. We go to the break, and it's 20-17 doors. So they're up by 3 and catching 17, and they can't cover. They gave up 35 points in the second half to Ole Miss. Jackson Dart goes for 448 yards through the air, and Mingo had 247 of that, and they can't cover. Same song, different dance. Last year I gave Vandy as my lock of the year. this year, I feel great that they're going to cover. I'm taking the points at home. And I got what I thought. Ole Miss started out slow, but then the floodgates opened up.
Look, if anyone knows me, they know I'm going to pump Lane credit as much as I can. But I think you could have called plays in the second half against that Vanderbilt defense. They're just bad.
It's bad.
It's just so bad. How do you give up just so – talk about getting blitzed. Like, that was just a blitzkrieg that happened to them in that game. And
35-8 in the second half.
That's just bad, man. Clark Lee era, man. We got to pump
the question is, here's throw this question out. It's a Monday. I don't really want to talk about LSU right now, so we'll talk about Vanderbilt. If I put Southeastern Conference victories in the Clark Lee era at Vanderbilt at 2.5, will he win 3 conference games as the head coach?
For how long?
Whenever
his tenure?
Until he gets fired.
Ooh, Missouri.
He's a Vandy alum. He's in year 2. The recruiting classes were decent.
He has to find a way to beat South Carolina or Missouri once a season. Like, you got to beat one of them once. Like, did you just get one of them, split one of those 2 every year? No, I'm taking the under. I'm taking the under.
He can join the Chad Morris Ring of Honor as coaches who never won a conference game their whole career.
I'm taking the under, man.
Chad Morris, over at Arkansas.
They had the Gatorade shower. They had the champagne bottles in the locker room. They hit their win total. They're done. Like, they're packing their bags for the offseason, getting ready for spring football, getting ready for the portal. They're not going to win another SEC game.
This was a trivia question at Pluckers like a couple months ago. I asked what SEC school has had multiple coaches lose 13 conference games in a row this century, and most people jump all over Vanderbilt, but Arkansas is actually the answer. Brett Bielema lost his first 13 before they beat LSU, and Chad Morris lost 13 and he never won one. He just got fired. It's just pathetic. But Vanderbilt did not cover, even though they were a lock to cover, and they did not get it done. However, I took South Carolina, catching 6.5 there in Lexington. They win by 10, and Shane Beamer's throwing a little shade at Mark Stoops. You hear that?
I did not hear that, but I was another game that was making me stick to my core watching that. I'm taking
Spencer Rattler, boy.
Spencer.
Kentucky, without Levis was inept on offense, and so apparently Mark Stoops said something at SEC Media Days like, you have to build a culture and not a climate or something. And he said you can't just do it with goofy sunglasses and dumb dance moves. And that's when Beamer had just done put the shades on and dance around in the locker room for a viral TikTok video or something. So then Shane Beamer after the game says, that's SC Media Days. He said he didn't like sunglasses. Then, well, guess what? And he puts on the sunglasses and starts dancing.
Oh, my God.
Little South Carolina, Kentucky spice for your weekend.
What does that bring their win total to this year? Are they
South Carolina?
Yeah. What
they're 4-2, 1-2 in the SEC.
They're 1-2 in the SEC. Okay. Congratulations, Beamer. Good job. You beat the backup quarterback.
That's
Hooray.
right. Put those sunglasses on. And then the last one, Alabama A&M. That's the one we want to talk about here. Look, A&M had every chance to win this game and just refused to do it. And I thought to not give the ball to A-Chain on the last play of the game, you just can't do it. He's the best player on the team. And the play call I just thought was so bad. And again, I'm not an X's and O's, guys, but I can tell you this. This is not X's and O's. That play, you're only giving yourself one option to score the touchdown. Your only option is making a back shoulder throw in a 2-foot by 2-foot window that has to be caught. You don't give Haynes King, who's fast, any type of ability to run. You don't have any options. A-Chain's not catching the ball. There's not a second route. You have one chance. That's just not enough statistically. Get a Haynes King on the edge or just give it to A-Chain. That's what I'd do. He's awesome.
Look, if that was Megatron Calvin Johnson over there, then I'd be like, you know what, Jimbo? No, give it to the 6'6" receiver who's 230 pounds and can just go to an 11-point high peak and make a play. But no, you don't have that guy over there. You lost your best receiver. That was just bad. And I thought for Alabama, they just didn't execute. And it seems like I love Nick as a head coach, but has he ever recruited a kicker in his life? Like, has he ever had a kicker? Like, I just remember an entire lifetime of them just having terrible freaking special teams and a terrible kicker, and it almost came back to bite them in this football game. But, yeah, for Jimbo, kind of what we thought, man, just as a play caller. Like,
what would your suggestion be? That it had to get 2 yards?
I would just run my best pass play there. I would have to go back and look and see how they were getting pushed in the run game, but I don't know if I just love just running into the teeth of that defense. I run my best pass play where if you got a guy open, you can hit that guy, or, Haynes can use his legs to extend the play or run it in there. But I think when you kind of look at the route concept, they were running like 2 slants on the backside and then like the weirdest fade route I've ever. I don't even know what that was.
It was like a fade stop to the back shoulder.
I don't know what
you
that
have
was.
To. I mean, Manziel said this on Twitter after. It's like me and Mike Evans could run that in practice all day and complete about 30%. Mm-hmm. Like it's just you have to make a perfect throw. And it just that play call to me was terrible. When you got one of the best players in the country in A-Chain standing back there, he's touching the ball for me. Like
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, he only ran for 62 yards, so it's not like they lit him up on the ground. But like I'm giving the ball to the best player I got.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I think if that's what you felt in that situation, it's a yard and a half. Like, yeah, I wouldn't have been mad at that. And like, if it would have got stuffed, then I'm sure people would have been Monday armchair quarterback. And how could you run the ball there? Because it didn't work. But yeah, I wouldn't have mind giving the ball to A-Chain, or I definitely wouldn't mind just running a regular pass play where you actually have a concept where it's high-low read something, not just
and then
a
he
fade
can run
stop.
if it's not there, not
Yeah.
just like snap the most inaccurate quarterback in the league. You're just going to snap it to him and make him try to make a pinpoint throw. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Play call stunk. I spent some time on TexAgs yesterday, and that's not really the point. I'm a little surprised at the reaction from the A&M fans. We'll get to that next. It's Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal. They're elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every month here on Hunt and Hill. This month, all of October, we are telling you about Fresh Junkie Racing.
Yeah, Fresh Junkie Racing is a group of racing enthusiasts that have taken their love of running and built a business providing citizens across the state a way to get moving and stay moving. Created by athletes for athletes, Fresh Junkie Racing hosts world-class road racing events and triathlons right in Louisiana, welcoming crowds from across the globe to experience this place we call home.
I'm going to start running today. Haven't really worked out in a while. I don't think I'm going to make it to the turkey trot in Baton Rouge or in St. Tammany, but Fresh Junkie Racing does have a turkey trot in Baton Rouge on Convention Street and on North Columbia Street in Covington on Thanksgiving Day. Just a couple of the events that they have each and every year, 18 of them in total. And the Louisiana Marathon alone has about a $5.2 million economic impact on our great state. So obviously keeping people healthy with the running sides of thing and helping the economy each and every year. And that's why Fresh Junkie Racing being celebrated all month long by LWCC as a champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We're recapping LSU, Tennessee, Saints, Seahawks. We'll hear from Brian Kelly and chat with Cole Kublik. It's all on Monday's AFR. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So I go check out what A&M World is thinking after that game, and I'm shocked, quite frankly. There was so much of, man, what a step forward for the program. Man, what our guys fought. No. Man, we can build off of this. And I'm like, wait a second, bros. You got 4 turnovers. They missed 2 field goals. And they didn't have the Heisman winner. This is year 5. What are we talking about here?
Oh my God! Wait, no.
Yes.
No. Wait, this is
so
not.
much.
This is not the great Aggie fan base. So I literally, this is maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Our great culture. These recruits are coming to A&M because they're winners. We're here. We're a top 5 team in the country. What happened to all that talk? What happened?
4 turnovers, 2 missed field goals, and the Heisman Trophy winner's out. And you're going to sit there and tell me that your program's taking a step forward in year 5 under Jimbo? Year 1, maybe. 5? You do realize that's the game you have to win to accomplish any of your goals. We just proved this to you 2 years ago when you went 9-1 and didn't get in the playoff because you lost that game. That's the one that matters. You want to play for the title as LSU in 11? You have to go there and win. You want to win the title as LSU in 2019? You have to go there and win. You want to do anything in this league at Texas A&M, you got to go win the game. They handed it to you on a silver platter, and now we're taking moral victory laps.
I kind of love it, though. I love it, man, because it just reeks of little brother. That's what it is. Little brother, little cousin, newborn baby, whatever you want to call it. Because if you're the new dogs on the block, #1 recruiting class, the national championship winning coach, money out the wazoo, text ass buzzing. We got all new memberships. Everything's just amazing. Go Aggies, yeah. And then now you're 3-3 and unranked, and you're not very good, and it looks like another 8 and well, I'm not even gonna go that far. What is it? 7-5, 6-6? What's staring down the barrel for you guys? You just were ranked #5 to start the season. Like it's not great, man.
So A&M's 1-2 in league play right now. This is their next month. They're at South. They have a bye this week, and they're at South Carolina, home Ole Miss, home Florida, at Auburn before UMass, and then LSU. So
UMass Auburn is the only one I feel good about, honestly.
At South Carolina?
It's just you just saw the glasses and the dance moves, man. Come on.
Backup quarterback. Yeah.
Look, they got Haynes, man. Look, Haynes actually did a lot better than I thought, though. I thought it could have been a lot worse. He only had one interception in this game. Obviously put them in position to win the game. But I just don't see it this year, man. And I think for a program that, like I said, that's the reason why Hester and I just feel the way we do about the Aggies. I would hope our Tigers would start, turning that corner around with BK. And then once that happens, Alabama's not going anywhere. You know what's on the other side in the East if you even make it to the SEC championship. There's a lot of hurdles y'all got to get over before y'all are this so-called team that's taking the nation by storm. So we'll see. I just don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Reminder, host Mark Ramsey brings you bite-sized Hollywood history inside the new Drop Biscuit Studio podcast. You Talking to Me. Listen, download, or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com. All right, I do have to complain a little bit. I didn't tease this, but I want to. I'm going to. I got yelled at on Twitter a lot on Saturday. Everyone seems to disagree with me. Whatever. I'm not changing my stance one bit. I can't look at us go out there in a big football game wearing those uniforms. I can't. It's just terrible. And now we're doing it. We're doing alternate uniforms a couple times a year now. Again, I am 34 going on 77. I'm well aware of it. I know that it's not to appeal to me. I know that everyone says it fires the guys up. Yeah, they looked really inspired. I'm glad those uniforms clicked them into gear. But, come on, man. We look terrible out there.
Yeah, I got asked this question before the game, and I'm like, listen, if we're playing New Mexico on some boring Saturday night that no one really cares about, yeah, you can wear green uniforms for all I care. But if you're playing on a national televised game in front of the country against a ranked opponent, what are we doing? I'm sure there's a people from a certain demographic, certain landscape that cut that game on and was like, wait, who's playing this game? What school is that?
It's so much white.
Yeah.
There's no color popped. I don't mean this is not to be a uniform show, but just give me my 4 minutes here. They're the most classic uniforms. I don't see frickin' Bama coming out in stupid-looking uniforms.
No, not in this game. And then you play the way you did. It just makes me want to throw up a little bit. Way too early in the morning to be watching that. But, hey, we'll bounce back, man. Long season, we'll see. But, yeah, the white uniforms, that's how we played. Oh, man, that's
retire them.
That was
what?
Not good.
The last time I saw us come out in all white uniform, when did we do?
Ole Miss.
So was that the only time that we did? Because that's what I was talking about, but I didn't know if we had done it since then. That was 2015 Ole Miss. That was my bachelor party. We all went there and we got beat by 1,000 in that game too. So any sort of inclination that these white uniforms are going to make the guys get way fired up and play at a different level is just false, because they put them on twice and gotten dusted both times they did it.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. Normally, I don't really care too much, but yeah, I was expecting just the traditionals, man. Just rock with the traditionals, and then I know what happened was they posted the Instagram video. The players are walking in the locker room like there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Oh my God, the all white unis! Ooh.
Tennessee looked worse than we did. That's a fact.
Yeah,
they looked
man.
awful. Those smoky grays are terrible as well. That orange is ugly. It's uniquely theirs, so it works, and the checkerboard's real cool in the end zone, but those smoky grays were a tough look.
Then we were getting patted on the head by Tennessee fans. I literally wanted to throw up. They're like, oh, we've been here before, guys. You guys just got to keep. I'm like, what? Y'all haven't had a pulse in 2 decades. Shut up, please. Jesus.
All right. Well, that's our event session for the day. We'll come back and talk about the NFL action from yesterday. It's Hunt and Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill.
Bayou Ford. Check out that inventory at BayouFord.com. They've got a picture of every vehicle that is on the lot. They've got your descriptions, your Carfax pricing, all the bells and whistles. You see something you like, call Ben Gagne and the crew. It could be yours. If you don't see what you like, that's all right. You don't have to settle. It's right there on the website. They'll customize a vehicle for you, turn it around in 2 to 3 months, and have that thing delivered right to your door by one of their 6 full-time drivers.
Yeah, head over to BayouFord.com. They have the all-new 2022 Ford Expedition Timberline. That's ready-to-lift 3 kit on there. Also tinted windows. Also all-new 2021 Ford F-150. They're getting $14,000 off MSRP, including the Black Widow edition.
$14,000 off MSRP sounds pretty good to me. Check out the website, BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, what they're going to do right by you.
Professional golfers John Peterson and JJ Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jdacody.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at Running Boards.
Me, Jimmy out at Charles Handegriff. Monday, 6 to 8 p.m., we're at Spoken Hub Restaurant on Government Street in Mid-City. We recap the weekend pro and college football. Game Time presented by Bet Rivers on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Take a spin around the NFL slate from Sunday. Nice win by the Giants, going to Lambeau, getting a victory. They are 4-1. I mean, the Packers are just not very impressive, and we just kind of assume we hand them that division year in and year out, but it doesn't feel like they should be handed anything to this point right now. And the Giants just keep playing good.
No, they are. It's just one of those scrappy teams who are well coached. I think Dayball definitely has to get credit for what he's done with that Giants team, who just really hasn't had a pulse since Eli left and won those Super Bowls. And they're rolling right now. And you beat a Packers team that I think ruined everyone's parlays this Sunday. I don't think anyone picked the Giants to take down Aaron Rodgers and the crew. But for the Giants, that's a big-time win. They're riding it in the NFC East, which I just didn't expect them to be, especially at this point in the season.
Gabe Davis single-handedly crushed my fantasy soul yesterday for Buffalo. Had 2 monster touchdown catches, and the Steelers are bad. 38-3, the final from Buffalo.
Yeah, that was just a beatdown. That was just Buffalo flexing their muscles, flexing their guns. Josh Allen starting that game off 98-yard touchdown pass, and they didn't look back after that. That offensive passing attack is very, very difficult to do. We got a quarterback who's obviously going to be in MVP conversations for the rest of the year, and you got a rookie quarterback trying to play
throwing
on the road
52 times.
Yeah, on the road, no run game. I guess their O-line isn't that great this season, but you got to give Najee Harris the ball and feed him and get him going. That's just something they haven't been able to do all season long. And I think for the Steelers, been a very long time since they had a losing record in the season. I think they're staring that right down the barrel this season.
When your quarterback is not feeling great, it helps to be able to hand the ball off to Austin Eckler 16 times for 173 yards and a score. The Chargers go all the way over to Cleveland and get a 2-point win. A really nice win from the Chargers. You were stumbled a little bit out of the blocks, but seemed to be kind of finding it.
Yeah. They started off, missing some guys. Bosa was going to be a big part of that defense, rushing the edge with Mack on the other side. You miss him, and then you got some guys out. Keenan Allen missing some time too. So, yeah, I think for them that's a big time. Anytime you win on the road in the NFL, it's obviously a big-time deal to go across the country and do that for a West Coast team. And that Browns team, real scrappy without Deshaun. I think, one more week without him, and then they kind of get their quarterback back. So for them, maybe win another game next week. You go to 3-3. Get Deshaun back, but for the Chargers, that's a big-time win. I'm sure the Austin Eckler fantasy owners are really, really happy with what they saw in the game Sunday.
Justin Jefferson, another day at the office, 12 catches, 154 yards as the Vikings clipped the Bears up there in Minnesota. And Justin Fields had the big highlight reel play, and then obviously you have the mistake there at the end. Bears 0-3 away from home. Vikings moved to 4-1 on the season, and I think right now if I'm handicapping it, I've got them winning the North.
Yeah, they look good, and especially at home. Kirk is a different man. He put that chain on, and he said he just felt those powers from wearing that big Cuban link chain. So my boy Kirk's been playing well this season. And look, Jets was a little too humble to start the year. He said, I got respect for Devontae, got respect for Cooper, but next year I'll be the best receiver. I think he's the best receiver in football right now. I had those 2 weeks, week 2 and week 3, were not the biggest time performances, but it's amazing how he just continues to get left wide open play after play after play. But, yeah, I don't think there's a receiver I'll take over Justin Jefferson right now.
The most likable coach in the NFL, maybe Dan Campbell. The most unlikable, maybe Bill Belichick. But you sleep on Bill, and then all of a sudden he takes the Lions offense that had really been playing well and throws a bagel up.
Yeah, like the Bailey Zappi experience, man. Who would have thought Bailey Zappi leading the Patriots to a win at home this season? But when you're going against Jared Goff and the crew, you never know what you're going to get. And you just got to, kind of the Jared Goff of old, not really, having a pulse, throwing an interception, not really scoring enough points, couldn't get their run game going. And it's very tough to do. You can't be one-dimensional against Bill Belichick in that defense. They're going to make you pay for it. You can't just think you're going to go out there and pass it every single play. And that was just a big-time win for them at home. And, a team that I really didn't think would have much success on offense. They've been able to, get the run game going. Stevenson, big-time day, over 160 yards rushing. So, yeah, that's a team that's a scrappy win for the Patriots, and they needed that, especially with Mac Jones out of the lineup.
I think we're handling all the concussions wrong with the Dolphins at this point. I think you were really wrong on the Tua thing, and then I think he had really no reason to have to sit Teddy, but if they're going to err on that side, they're going to err on that side, and they didn't let him come back in the ball game, and the Jets rolled the Dolphins 40-17. Yeah, I mean, that's what's going to happen when you lose two quarterbacks.
Amazing. The spotter that got hired by the NFL to pick and choose which guy should not be in the game, he actually called down and actually did his job. But now I feel like they're going to do it times 10, avoid every lawsuit they can, and every guy that has that spotter job each Sunday, he's going to be on pins and needles, making sure if a guy even has a small little gaze in his eyes, they're going to sit him down on the ground. But, man, Zach Wilson, that dog, he hasn't lost a game since he came back and became a quarterback. So got to give credit to little Zach, man. He's handling business for the Jets right now.
Falcons tried in the fourth quarter. Scored 15 unanswered in the fourth quarter, but they were down 21-0, so it wasn't quite enough as Tampa gets a one-score win over the Atlanta Falcons. Bucs moved to 3-2. Still think they're the favorite in the South?
I guess they're by default, I guess. It's like one of those by default things.
It ain't Carolina.
No, it's darn sure not Carolina. But, yeah, I think, anytime Brady's dropping back 52 times to pass the ball, they just don't love that. I think they got to get Leonard more touches. I know he's at 4 carry, which is not the worst. Like I think you got to find a way to get Fournette going a little bit more. But for the Bucs, I just don't love seeing Tom pass it that many times. It's not that best brand of football. I need to get Leonard going, mix that play action game and stuff. But yeah, I think by default you got to kind of favor them to win the NFC South.
Titans go to Washington and win 21-17. Commanders fall to 1-4. Titans are 3-2. Big day for Derrick Henry, 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. This was in my tier 4. It's just a boring football game.
Yeah, not much to talk about. And Carson, he goes for 359 yards passing, but if Carson's going to Carson, what's he going to do? Turn the ball over with the game on the line, and they had every opportunity to win that football game down the stretch. But Wentz is going to walk it to the other team sometimes, and that's just kind of what you expect with him as a quarterback. So don't know how much more quarterback he's going to be playing for the Commanders after this season. I think it's another situation when you're a quarterback. You don't want to go from team to team to team year after year. It's just so hard to get that continuity you need to have. But for the Commanders, I just never thought he'd be the answer to save that franchise and get them back onto the winning ways.
I don't know if this is a cliche, but it maybe needs to be. This is why you're the Jaguars. Everybody looks and said, "Oh, these guys are playing pretty good. They're doing well. They're having a strong start to the season. Maybe they're turning a corner. Look at Coach Peterson. Trevor, 13-6 at home against a winless Houston team. Bad.
Yeah, and Davis Mills goes 16 for 24 for a whopping 140 passing yards, and you lose that football game. It's just, they couldn't really get the run game going high enough, and Trevor had his worst game of the year all year. He's been playing kind of out of his mind, a lot better than a lot of people expected, but you turn the ball over twice, can't really score in the red zone, can't put points on the board. It looks like Jack's going back to doing Jack's thing, so maybe we'll see what they have going forward. But, they kind of show what they kind of really are.
I was stunned in December of 2019, with how many 49ers fans came down to New Orleans. I looked at the highlights from this game yesterday. There were way more 49er fans in Charlotte than there were Panther fans. And so when you have more of visiting fans in your stadium than yours and you lose 37-15, that's when you get fired.
Look, man, you never want to see that as an owner, as a GM, as anyone a part of that front office, when your team just doesn't have any absolute pulse, and to put, fuel to that fire, you walk out into the stadium and you just see a sea of red and your home quarterback getting booed. It's not a great scene. And then you get blown out by double digits. It's just not a great scene for Panthers fan or anyone involved with that team. And so, 49ers look like they're probably the best defense in football, number one scoring defense right now. And you got that week in and week out, one of the best play callers. They're going to change around. Jimmy G, who would have thought, getting the 49ers back to their winning ways, but got to give credit to him, especially with it kind of all he dealt with this offseason. Go out there and continue to battle and help his team win. That was a big win for the Niners.
Maybe the biggest mismatch in any game over the weekend. And look, the Bills boat raced Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams could not block the Cowboys. Just cannot block them. Taylor Sharp, you can open your microphone here. Are we starting to feel it in Dallas? They're 4-1. The backup quarterback.
Yeah, the defense is legit. It might be the best defense in the NFL, because you got to remember, Micah Parsons didn't play in the entire fourth quarter because of an ankle injury. It didn't matter. That D-line is incredible.
The Rams just couldn't block him.
Yeah, no, and look, Stafford's getting sacked at an all-time clip right now. Like, just as a quarterback, there's no worse thing. Like, you rather deal with receivers getting drops. You rather see people putting the ball in the dirt. When you're getting your brain beat in down after down, and they just don't know where they're coming from, it's so difficult to have success as a quarterback. And for the Rams, that's, people talk about that Super Bowl hangover. I don't know what it is, but that's just not the same team we watched go to the Super Bowl last season.
Doesn't look like it. Eagles beat the Cardinals 20-17. Really nice win. Look, the Cardinals missed a tying field goal there at the gun, and the Eagles get it done. They're winning close games. That's what you have to do in the NFL. You're not gonna win a bunch of 10-point games in the NFL.
Yeah, when you're on the road in the NFL, you just want to get out of there and win. We get back on that team playing with the win. Everyone feeling good. Not that awkward silence you got to deal with. Doesn't matter how you do it. But I thought for the Cardinals, a little less Mouses with that time, where they control that time in the game. Collar slides right before the first down marker. You spike the ball on third down with 29 seconds left, and then you miss the field goal. Bill Belichick talks about all the time, eliminating bad football. They gave bad football right to the Eagles and gave them that game and gave them a situation to win that football game. You just can't handle the clock that way down the stretch. And you gave a team that was on the rails. You had a great opportunity to beat an undefeated team, and you pretty much let that one slip away.
I was watching Mets-Padres last night, but I would have liked to slip over to Bengals and Ravens, but I couldn't because my television carrier didn't have NBC.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
Yeah, same
Figure
here.
it out.
Yeah.
So I didn't watch any of this game, but I did know that Justin Tucker made a field goal at the end of the game to win, because he always makes field goals at the end of the game to win.
Yeah, no, he's unreal. And he gave the most trolling, sarcastic interview at the end of the game. He was like, yeah, it was just like the great long snapping thing. Like, he didn't take any credit. It's like, I'm a system kicker. Yeah, you're some system kicker, Justin Tucker. Relax, buddy. You're the best kicker in all of football. So, yeah, trying to be a little humble there, a little humble troll. But, yeah, for the Bengals, just – I don't know how I love Taylor as a play caller, man. I thought that was just
a lot of people are saying that.
It's just crazy to me what kind of happened. He ran a Philly special on the 2-yard line. They're driving it to go, score a touchdown or at least get a field goal. They run Philly special. They lose 15 yards. They get a play to Jamar. They get back to the 2, and then they run a shovel pass, and it gets totally blown up. It's like, what's going on, man? And then they gave them an opportunity to win the game. And, of course, you get Justin Tucker anywhere. I was like, look, they get to the 50. I'm scared he's going to make this. And they obviously got well within that, and it was just a layup for him to win that game. But, yeah, that Bengals offense, it's just not the same as it was last year. Mixon got going a little bit better in this game, which I think they need to do a lot more of. 17 carries, but he was at 5.8 a clip. But got to get him going a lot more, and then that passing attack just has to have a step up better, and they're not protecting Joe the way they need to. But, yeah, Taylor didn't love the play calling in that game.
Little NFC South coming up for the Bengals. They are obviously in New Orleans this week, and they play the Falcons. And then after a trip to Cleveland, they will play the Panthers with their new head coach. So 3 of their next 4 in the NFC South for the Bengals, who are 2-3 on the season. That's your look around the National Football League. We'll come back and close out a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
On Tuesdays, OTB will put a cap on Tennessee game with our final film review, start to break down Tigers, Gators in the swamp. And spooky season rolls right along. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Closing up shop here on a Monday edition of Hunt and Hill. Hope your Monday is going well. Big week in football down here in South Louisiana. LSU headed to the Swamp to go play Florida on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the much anticipated return of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to the Superdome to play the Saints. A lot of buzz around that on Twitter today. Everybody's getting all cranky. Sharif's going to go nuts tomorrow when we start talking about the Bengals. There are so few non-Saints fans that are huge LSU fans that are supporting the Bengals and actually care enough to go to this game. Like, they're just like, I am not a Saints fan. Would prefer they win. I don't, but sometimes I watch, sometimes I don't. I'm pulling for the Bengals most weeks, but like, I'm certainly not going to go drop $400 to go watch the Saints and Bengals because I have to go see Joe Burrow play and pull against the Saints. Like, I'm the guy you're worried about, and there just aren't that many of me, and I'm not going. Like, so it's just not that many. This notion that there are going to be like 12,000 Bengals fans from South Louisiana flooding the Superdome is a little much for me.
I could see Bourbon Street being packed with some Joey B fans, but as far as the game, that's a hefty price to come watch Joey B and the crew playing. I think if these teams' records were a little different, then I could see people saying, hey, like, this is going to be a big-time game. Both teams losing records right now, so we'll see. But I still think it'll be an electric atmosphere. We all kind of know what happened last time those guys came in that Superdome and did what they did. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this game. Kind of torn between, don't want to lose any friendships picking the wrong team. But, I think I'll be going with my boy Joey B, man. I got to ride with my boy, man.
All right, let's do some take it or leave it. Dan Orlovsky from ESPN says the Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb is the best pure runner in all of football this season. Nick Chubb, best back in the game. Take it or leave it.
I mean, anytime you go for 7.9 a touch in an NFL game and you've just been doing what he's been doing all season, yeah, I think right now Chubb he's running an all-time clip. And to me, this Browns team, they probably wouldn't even have won a game this season without the production he's had. So, yeah, I'll agree with my boy Orlovsky here.
I'll take it.
Nick Chubb's definitely the best runner I've seen all year. All right, here, Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. He was not happy with the play calling to end their game against the New York Giants, with him saying he trusts himself and A.J. Dillon to be able to gain 2 yards after the Packers turn it over with 2 consecutive pass attempts on 3rd and 4th down. Are you taking or leaving? He is taking a shot at head coach Matt LaFleur.
I'll take it. I mean,
I'll take it.
I mean, he's saying I don't like the call, and the coach makes the call. So, I don't think he said he has to be fired, but he just said, give me the football. I think that happens sometimes in the NFL. There's a little bit more leash for that. You're all pros and everybody's making some cash. Okay, that's fine by me, whatever you want to say. After A&M lost to Bama on the last play of the game, former Heisman winner Johnny Manziel tweeted it was one of the worst play calls he has seen in his life. Jimbo needs to give up play calling duties now. Take it or leave it.
No. I need Jimbo calling plays the last game of the season. Those amazing, just beautiful, drawn-up, dialed-up plays that Jimbo's just so infamous for. Yeah, we need to see more of that. We need to see that for the rest of the season. You got to play another couple games in the SEC. Yeah, man, I love what I'm seeing from
17
Jimbo.
more points from them.
Yeah,
that's
just
what they
great play
sometimes
calling.
7, sometimes 14, sometimes 17. Never a lot.
Yep, I saw that. We'll see that for the rest of the year. I'll take it. I'll take that. All right, New York Mets commentator Gary Cohen was not happy with how manager Bo Showalter handled the Joe Musgrove situation with him pitching on the bump. Said it reeked of desperation to opt to have his ears checked for a foreign substance. Are you taking or leaving? Desperate move to check Musgrove for the sticky stuff.
I'll leave it. I mean, with this climate, with what they've been doing with pitchers and the fact that they figured out that everybody was cheating, that needs to be looked at. And Musgrove's ears were
shiny,
violently red. It was like, what the heck is going on? Now, Andrew McCutcheon tweeted out that a lot of these pitchers are putting Icy Hot or something on their ears to make them burn because it helps you lock in or focus or something. I don't know what the heck that means, but I mean, it looked really weird. It did. And so, if you want to go out there and check it, maybe it's even a gamesmanship move to kind of make him mad or something. Maybe he hangs one. I don't know. It didn't work because the Mets didn't score. So that's not great. But I mean, if you were watching the game and you saw what his ears looked like, they were bright red. That's just not normal.
Look, I know one pitcher you don't do that. Don't do that to Scherzer. He may blow a gasket. You check that guy for anything. He may throw a punch. But, yeah, I thought, for Musgrove, I thought it fired him up, actually. It seemed like he pitched better.
Great.
Yeah, it seemed like he pitched better after they checked him for the sticky stuff. But, yeah, Padres, especially after last season not making the playoffs, they bounced back, but without their best player on the roster. So we'll see what they do. But anytime you got two aces like they do, who knows where that can take you.
The Mets had DeGrom, had Scherzer.
Not enough bats.
Not enough bats. They had the top-end bats with Alonso, Nimmo, and McNeil won the batting title. And then you look up, and, man, they had a 10.5-game lead in the middle of the summer and couldn't close the door. The Braves just ran them down. And you end up playing the Padres in a 3-game set, and you can't hit Darvish in Game 1. But DeGrom did his job in Game 2, and they got it done, but couldn't hit in Game 3. And just – you had the Mets could have won the World Series this year. They had that good a team, and it just stinks when it's over so fast. It's like this playoffs that you snap your fingers. I mean, the worst was when the Cubs, back in 2018, they were the best. They blew the division on the last day. Then they lost to the Brewers and they lost to the Rockies in the wild card game, and they were like in first place all year, and then in 2 days lost both games and were out of the playoffs. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, it's a tough break for the Cubbies, man. We'll see next year, though. Lose for Cruz. We'll see what happens.
We didn't lose enough for Cruz, I don't think. It doesn't sound good. He's going to be the first pick. So, chatted with Matt McMahon, LSU basketball coach, on Saturday, which was really nice. He's a great dude and I think doing an awesome job. They crank it up here in a month, and I actually went out to the box on Friday and watched a little bit, so maybe we'll get into that tomorrow at a point, maybe a 5-minute segment there on a little bit of baseball. That'll do it for a Monday edition. If you missed any of it, catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere you get your audio, you can get our stuff. Jimmy Out's Game Time coming at you 6 to 8 p.m. this evening. Matt Moscone about to drive you home on After Further Review from 3 to 6. Have a great Monday, everybody. We're back tomorrow. It's Hunt and Hill.